Chicago Bears Now is presented by Manscaped. Go over to manscaped.com, use promo code BEARS20. That's going to get you 20% off plus free shipping at Manscaped. They got the best men's grooming products out there, and with Father's Day approaching this Sunday, trust me, Manscaped is a perfect Father's Day gift. Let's get into today's Bears Rumors Roundup. I'm your host, Harrison Graham. Could the Bears sign offensive tackle Morgan Moses? I'm going to give this one to Smokin' Jays, and a lot of rumors are starting to recirculate around Moses and the Bears because, remember, he visited a couple of weeks ago, but now SB Nation and some other blogs are putting together the thought of, well, the Bears released tight end Darion Clark. Maybe that was a calculated move to clear up a roster spot for a guy like Morgan Moses. Now, I would love to add Morgan Moses to this football team. I don't think there's any doubt about that, but I think this feels like a bit of a reach. I still think two Smokin' Jays makes sense because I think there's a decent chance the Bears could use another offensive tackle, but at the same time, I don't know if releasing a number 4 or 5 tight end means you're going to go sign an offensive tackle. I'm not convinced there's a connection here. Now, sure, a roster spot is opened up here. They could certainly go and sign Morgan Moses. He has visited the team, but if they sign Moses, I think it's just because they want Moses. I don't think it's because they released Darion Clark. You look at the tight end depth chart for the Chicago Bears, you already have Cole Kmet, Jimmy Graham, and J.P. Holtz, who are all clearly ahead of Darion Clark. Jesper Horsted is also on the roster as well. If this was something like, oh, the Bears cut Jimmy Graham to clear $7 million in cap space, I'd be like, all right, they're going to go sign somebody. That makes more sense. But Darion Clark is a guy who was on the practice squad last year. Like, he's a former college basketball player who was trying to make it as a tight end in the NFL. I don't think the Bears releasing him is like a trigger, like, oh, they must be signing Morgan Moses now. I don't think that makes sense. Now, I still think they could sign Moses. I still think signing Moses makes sense. I just don't think it's because they released Darion Clark. Now, let us know. If the Bears should sign Morgan Moses, just like this video. Hit that thumbs up icon on today's show. I certainly think they should. I'm going to like the video. I hope they absolutely do it. Now, to talk about more on the Moses side of this in terms of how he would fit, a couple of things would happen. You look at the depth chart here. Tevin Jenkins, your rookie tackle out of Oklahoma State. The Bears have him slated to play left tackle, played mostly right tackle in college, as we've discussed quite a bit here on Bears Now. Moses can play both tackle spots. So say Jenkins isn't ready to go as a left tackle, you could put Moses there, kick Jenkins back to right. Jermaine Ifedi could be your swing tackle in that scenario. There's no doubt that Morgan Moses would be a nice addition to the Chicago Bears. I don't think anyone's disputing that. I'm not disputing that. I just think it's a reach by SB Nation and these other blogs to be like, oh, they cut Darion Clark. Oh, frees up a roster spot. Maybe they're going to go sign the best tackle on the open market. I'm just not convinced that is the case. We've been through a couple rounds of OTAs. Maybe the Bears came to the conclusion that, well, Darion Clark's not going to make this football team. So let's go ahead, cut ties now, maybe give him an opportunity to sign with another team. Now, be honest with us. Do you trust the Bears' offensive line? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Get your votes in on this one. Do you trust the Bears' O-line as it currently sits? Y for yes, N for no. I think it's better than last year. I think a guy like Moses would still help, though. I feel better than last year. We'll have to wait and see, though. Get your votes in on this one. Now, guys, Father's Day is almost here, and I mentioned at the beginning of the show that Manscaped is the perfect Father's Day gift, specifically the Lawnmower 4.0, which you can get for 20% off at manscaped.com by using that promo code right below, Bears20. The Lawnmower 4.0, it's going to shave your area downstairs. 4 adjustable guards, so if you want to leave a bit of a 5 o'clock shadow, a landing strip, whatever your lady has, the Lawnmower 4.0 is the best men's grooming product on the market right now. I use this bad boy on a weekly basis. My wife is very happy with it. Trust me, manscaped.com, promo code BEARS20. Those links will be in the comments. It'll be in the description. Get 20% off plus free shipping at Manscaped. Nick Foles trade to the Jets. Let's talk about this one again. I'm going to raise this one. How about 3 Smokin' Jays? I think there's a pretty good chance that this will happen between now and week 1, perhaps before training camp. Now, obviously, we've talked about why it makes sense for the Bears to trade Nick Foles. You can save $4 million against the cap now that we are past June 1st, but you're seeing more and more people out there throw this idea out. And Jeremy Fowler of ESPN, who's a legitimate NFL insider for the four-letter network there, says that Foles has a, quote, clear connection to the Jets. Jets GM Joe Douglas was in that Eagles front office when Nick Foles was in Philadelphia. And for the Bears, like we've mentioned, they don't need a third-string quarterback. Foles to the Jets, though, makes a lot of sense, whereas Foles staying in Chicago doesn't. Why does it not make sense in Chicago? You signed Andy Dalton. You drafted Justin Fields. You don't need a guy in Nick Foles to be your third-string guy. However, if you're looking at the Jets and how they sit, yeah, Zach Wilson's clearly their starting quarterback, but the guys they got behind him, James Morgan and Mike White, they've taken 0 combined snaps in their NFL career. So it's twofold for the Jets. Number one, they don't have a veteran quarterback that can help mentor Zach Wilson. And number two, they don't have a backup that can play at all behind Zach Wilson should he get hurt for whatever reason. Now, Nick Foles is not great by any stretch of the imagination, especially at this point in his career. But would I rather trot him out than James Morgan or Mike White? Absolutely. This is a guy that has won a Super Bowl, believe it or not. He can play in the NFL. I wouldn't want him as my starter. Neither would the Jets. But I think Zach Wilson needs a veteran QB too. You look at all the other rookie quarterbacks that got drafted in the first round. Trevor Lawrence, now the Jags may draft Gardner Minshew, but he's a guy who's played in the NFL. He's got some experience. That's valuable. Justin Fields here in Chicago. Andy Dalton can be that mentor veteran type. Trey Lance, Jimmy Garoppolo. Zach Wilson doesn't have that. Even Mac Jones has Cam Newton, a guy who's won an MVP, who's played a lot in the league. Zach Wilson and the Jets need a backup quarterback, and they need a veteran mentor for their rookie gunslinger. Now, will the Bears trade Nick Foles to the Jets? Type T for trade, type K for keep. I'm leaning toward this will happen. I'm going to type my T for trade. It's a win-win for both parties. The Jets get a veteran backup, and the Bears get to clear $4 million in cap space. Subscribe to the channel if you love the Chicago Bears, if you love what we do here on this show. Hit that big red button, youtube.com/Bears Now. We have videos going up all the time. We love what we do here at Chicago Bears Now, and we go live every Tuesday, which is tomorrow, so don't miss that as well. The latest news, rumors, and live Q&As here on Chicago Bears Now. One more on today's show. Damien Williams, is he fired up to play for the Chicago Bears? 4 smoking Jays on this one. He's very excited. He spoke with the media over the weekend, and remember, Damien Williams did not play last year. He opted out with the Kansas City Chiefs for a couple of reasons. COVID concerns. His mom was battling cancer. He wanted to be close to family, which is certainly understandable. There's no doubt about that. Chiefs ended up releasing him this offseason, but he also did say, and we'll throw the quote up on screen here, about how fired up he is, quote, with Nagy, he came from the same system. Nagy was with the Chiefs before Williams. Same place that I did. We had a talk, and he said, this is how I'm going to use you, how you were really used in KC as far as putting you out wide, running the ball, just coming in here and being a football player. Now, Damien Williams also said, hey, sitting at home made me realize how much I love this game and that I want to play it as long as possible. Damien Williams with the Chiefs, he was great in the playoffs. He had some really, really big moments and contributions to Kansas City, both in 2018 when they made the AFC title game and in 2019 when they won the Super Bowl. He could have won Super Bowl 54 MVP. He was that good. In 5 playoff games, look at the numbers, dude. 10 touchdowns combined between rushing and receiving. That's 2 per game on average. Had almost 600 all-purpose yards in those 5 games, well over 100 per game for Damien Williams. This is a guy that I believe will be a nice addition to this backfield. Now, David Montgomery is your clear RB1, but I think you got a little thunder and lightning with Damien Williams and Tarik Cohen as RB2A, RB2B, Khalil Herbert, Artavis Pierce, a couple of other guys are on the roster as well. But you've all of a sudden got a really nice 1-2-3 punch in Montgomery, Williams, and Cohen, and that's very exciting for the Chicago Bears. Now, who do you guys think will have the bigger impact out of these 2 players in 2021? Type DW for Damien Williams, type TC for Tarik Cohen. Get your votes in, and we will see you on Tuesday's live show here at Chicago Bears Now.